won't allow them to have gifts because it puts clutter in the house and they don't need material things. They don't need material things, but you need flowers? Come on. Also, just go pick some. Like, dang. You are forcing your children to give you flowers like clockwork every Friday, but you can't even, give them a gift on their birthday. The crunchy moms of TikTok are getting out of control. If you have not heard of crunchy mom, I'll give you a brief description of what that is because I didn't know what that is either. And although I think some of the practices of being a crunchy mom I don't see anything wrong with and I won't judge you for, there are some extreme ones that we are going to be talking about in this video, and I'm really curious what you all think about it. But before we get into it, I'm feeling under the weather. If you missed my last video, I mentioned that as well, and I'm filming several videos today, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be feeling great in all of them. So if this just so happens to be the first video that you clicked on of me, just know, normally I feel like I'm a bit more upbeat, but I just feel awful. Hopefully it's not translating that way through the camera, but I kind of have a feeling that it is, but it might just be the way that I feel and everything might be great. Who knows? Also, I sell vintage jewelry over on my Depop and jewelry that I make over on my Etsy. Both of those links are down below if you would like to get yourself some of my jewelry. It is so appreciated when you guys shop for me and help support me. But without further ado, let me tell you what a crunchy mom is if you haven't heard of one. And also, are you one? I have a feeling that maybe there are some crunchy moms watching because it is a thing. It's a whole thing, and we're going to talk about it. A mother who practices a parenting style that prioritizes natural alternatives over modern technology and medicine. The term is often used to describe a mother who eats organic foods. They often grow their food from home as well. Avoids processed foods and plastics, which is actually really, really great. Emphasizes environmentalism and recycling, also great. Homeschools instead of attending public school. I feel like in today's time, I used to be so against homeschool because I was homeschooled and it ruined me socially. Like, let's be real. And I don't feel like a lot of people know that I was actually homeschooled. And it's one of the reasons why I've spoken out against it, like with the Duggar family and stuff like that. But as you know, school shootings and things it's a dangerous world out there. And there's, I'm coming to a place where I feel like as long as you homeschool your kids the right way, which I guess that just is an opinion-based thing on what the right way is, but you do with that what you will. But I feel like in today's time, homeschooling can be a really great option if done correctly. So another one is preferring holistic medicine over modern medicine, and to an extent, I think that's great. To an extent. We will talk about that. May oppose vaccination and may prefer natural births at home. I think, most of that I don't see an issue with just upon reading that. But I have found some extreme crunchy moms on TikTok that even the commenters are like, this has to be rage bait. This has to be rage bait because this is so just terrible. Now, the one thing I want to first talk about is the holistic medicine over modern medicine. I do not think that there's anything wrong with attempting holistic medicine before you try certain things. I think that that's great. There is a lot of natural things that really do help your immune system and just stuff that we're not, educated on in the norm as we are, hey, just go to the pharmacy and get a prescription. You know what I mean? Like there's things that we have access to that our body actually craves and needs. And there are ways that we could go around having to use modern medicine. I definitely think in ways that some medicine can be very dangerous if not used correctly. And there are lots of side effects to a lot of medicine. So I don't think there's anything wrong with choosing a holistic route. There are some people that are part of the Christian community that I was raised in where they also would not take their children to the doctor. And I noticed that a lot of the people that wouldn't take their kids to the doctor, it had to do with anxiety, being fearful of a diagnosis that maybe they didn't want to hear about, or people who spend a lot of time at home and, you know, have a lot of anxiety about venturing out into the real world. And although I think that holistic medicine and stuff is great and something that I feel like can be very beneficial, I definitely think that there's a line there though, like where when it comes to your kids and they can't really take care of themselves, you should use your best judgment. And sometimes the reason why doctors exist is because they are needed. It doesn't mean you go to them for every single bump and scrape and issue that you have. There are definitely people who do that as well. But at the end of the day, they are there to help, and it's dangerous to view them as someone who's there to harm. The amount of help that I have received from a doctor, like I could have, like, okay, my ectopic pregnancy experience. What would someone who doesn't believe in going to the doctor at all do about that situation if they found out that they had an ectopic pregnancy? Would they just let it kill them? Some of these crunchy moms of TikTok are very extreme. So this one that I found, I'm going to just go ahead and read some of these things before we continue into it. This one, and it's just like screenshots, like pictures of their children with like font over it. So it's not like an interesting video to see or anything. So this one said that their kids are in bed at 4:30 p.m. with no exception, and that is when their brains grow and develop, and that they need the rest and that they need adult time. I'm not going to criticize that too much because I feel like, you know, some people go to bed at 4:30 and wake up very, very early, like 5, 6 a.m. and that's their schedule. I'm not going to criticize somebody's own personal like sleep schedule for their family and what works for them. Does it feel a little early? A bit, because I feel like when the sun's up, like, I mean, soak up the sun. That's kind of where I come from, but also I don't think that that's like a harmful thing. I remember even back when I was homeschooled that sometimes I was put to bed while the sun was still up. And honestly, I'm going to be real with you. My natural clock wanted to be awake when the sun was up. So it didn't really work out for me, but if it works out for you, whatever. My, you know, sleep schedule may be way too late for some people, actually probably most people, and that's also okay. Now this one, no hospitals and doctors. The one place they will pump you full of chemicals to help. There are natural and toxin-free solutions to almost everything. I feel like no doctors and hospitals without exception is a very dangerous situation. But it's like, if you don't believe in doctors and hospitals, when would you take your child to one? And is your child safe in your care if you think that you know the best treatment to everything? You know what I mean? Again, they're there to help. You don't have to take every advice that you get from a doctor. They're not going to hold you hostage and not let you leave. If they prescribe you medicine you don't want to take, you don't have to go to the pharmacy and pick it up. This one was interesting on this page. It says, flowers for mom every Friday. We raise gentlemen from birth, a small act of kindness that teaches them love and respect. Which, that's very sweet, but also I feel like if you're teaching them to do it on routine, it kind of loses the meaning a little bit. Like it's kind of like robotic, like, oh, it's Friday, time to go get some flowers. It's like there's no meaning behind it. Whereas, you know, in the summer when my son goes outside and picks a flower and brings it to me, that means something to me. But if it was like a scheduled routine, like brushing teeth to go get me flowers, like I would get used to that shit and it wouldn't mean much. Let me be real. Is it harmful though? No, again, not harmful. But this one, and this one might be controversial. No gifts on birthdays. This is what you swipe to right after flowers for mom every Friday. So these children, hold on. It says birthdays are for memories, not gifts. They don't need material things to be happy, and we don't need more clutter in the house. But I need flowers every Friday. Okay, this is where it's just like, I'm the mother, serve me. I make all the rules, and there's not really a whole lot of thought or meaning behind any of them, but I've made them, so you must follow. Like, you are forcing your children to give you flowers like clockwork every Friday, but you can't even, you know, give them a gift. on their birthday. Like, I don't think it's a requirement. Like, if you're struggling with money or, kids don't need gifts, but for it to be a rule, no gifts on birthdays, I just feel bad for those kids. You're making memories every single day. Like, a birthday is supposed to feel a little bit more special. And I feel like also, yes, you can give your child an experience as a gift. But if you're going to say, I need flowers every single Friday, but you won't allow them to have gifts because it puts clutter in the house and they don't need material things. They don't need material things, but you need flowers? Come on. Also, just go pick some. Like, dang. Pure showers. We don't fill our kids with chemicals, so why would we bathe in them? And then it talks about these like shower heads, like it's some sort of ad. No devices ever. I think that is also really great. I mean, I thought Roblox was for kids, and I've been playing Dress to Impress over there, and they have like Squid Game on Roblox where like you actually shoot people on that and they fall to the ground and die. And I'm like, people are letting their kids play Roblox. And I'm like, I don't think Roblox is for kids. There's also like a Cards Against Humanity style card game on there, and that's got some questionable stuff in it as well. And I'm like, people are just letting their kids play this stuff. Now, this is another one. It says, no shoes. One of the best ways to build their immune system. We let the kids play outside whenever they want, barefoot, getting muddy. It's the best time for them. And the picture is of their kids standing on rocks. I mean, why has this got to be a rule though? Like, that's where I'm just like, this is a rule? Like, in the spring and summer, there's times where my son's outside playing in the mud with no shoes, but it's not like a rule, like no shoes outside, like you can't wear them. These people run in their families like cattle. It's unbelievable to me. It's like, tell me that you have a superiority complex without telling me you have a superiority complex. Like, you just need to be right and make rules, and you just want to turn your family into a cult. Like, Jesus Christ. You know who else didn't let their kids wear shoes? Ruby Franke, when she sit them out into 100+ degree heat. Again, nothing wrong with no shoes outside, but a rule where they can't ever wear shoes? Listen. Each child is allowed only one toy at a time. If they want a new toy, they have to donate or gift the current one. That's a bit much. Do you disagree with me? That's a bit much. So, for me, when I was a child, I had my special toys that like I wanted to keep my whole life, right? What if you create like this bond with like a stuffy or something, and then you also see another toy that you really want because, kids are going to want to play with things. Like, let kids be kids. Like, what are we doing here? I just feel like that is just insane, and there's no logic to it. It's not that you can't give them more than one toy. It's that you're depriving them of it because you want them to be minimalistic, because it literally says that minimalism starts at a young age. Like, you want them to be minimalistic like you are. So you're training them to be that way by only allowing them to ever have one toy. I just feel like this person just gets a kick out of like these weird rules for their family, because there's so many of them. No shoes, no gifts on their birthday, only one gift at a time. Oh, you're bored of that one? You got to donate it first, and then we'll consider getting it. Like, what the tarnation? Sleeping on the floor. We avoid cribs or beds to encourage natural movement and prevent sleep training trauma. The kids love it. So they don't even have beds? I see why people are saying this person was rage bait, because wasn't that the reason why Ruby Franke and the 8 Passengers channel got canceled in the beginning? Was because she took a bed away from her oldest son? I feel like it's not healthy to view hospitals and doctors as our enemies and as dangerous places. There are certain things, like with this particular page here, that is giving Ruby Franke vibes. The no beds, the barefoot, like as a rule, as a requirement, like no gifts at all, but you have to give her something. Like, it's just, this is an extreme crunchy mom And I do not believe that they are all like this. I just want to say that. I think that I've seen some people where it's like, they just grow their own food from home and, they use holistic medicine, but in an extreme situation, they would absolutely take their children to the doctor and they homeschool. And homeschooling is controversial to me because I feel like there is a right and a wrong way to do it, but, who knows who's doing it right or wrong because I'm not a fly on their wall. I think that homeschooling can be great as long as you allow your children to have some sort of social element in their life, because that is a life skill, knowing how to socialize. And if you keep them cooped up in a house, they're not going to know how to communicate with people and they're going to have a lot of anxiety, and that is not healthy. What do y'all think about this? And I swear there are some people out there that catch me wrong and they assume I'm like coming down hard on something as a whole. I'm sure there are some moms who consider them a crunchy mom who are doing a great job. And this is just an extreme version. And I'm curious what you guys think about this. Let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to check out my jewelry, which will be linked down below as well. And I will see you soon for another video.